Alright, so chat was bugging out. I see your message now. Jesus Christ, YouTube. You had to get it together, YouTube. Jeez. What's up, Space Cowboy? Back at it again, for sure. Yeah, back from the overseas journey. Conquering the music world, indeed. Something like that. Now, there's a lot to pull up. BN4 is one of the games I'm least familiar with, as you may know. So I'm just trying to think, like, what all do I even need to do? BN4, let me look up the title screen marks. I'm pretty sure it's just Megas, Gigas, and Program Advances, and Base that I need to do. So let me pull these into its own tab so I can put chat on the side. But yeah, how have you guys been in the weeks that I've been gone? I did notice, Space Cowboy, you're doing what's up, Tavin? It's like Gustavo, I see. The user formerly known as Gustavo. But thank you. What was I gonna say though? Nice. Always good to shake things up every once in a while. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull up stuff as it comes up. First of all, I need to mute this. Nope. Figured out how to change the name. Yeah, not exactly a super intuitive process. So, I guess to do like more of a formal intro is like, I'm making my way through the Battle Network post games, as you may know. On to Battle Network 4, I wasn't totally sure if I was gonna do the second volume, but it's like, how can I not, especially with 5 being one of my favorites? And I'm not just gonna skip over 4, as much as I have lambasted this game in the past. So, I've got the Red Sun medal from beating the game. I've got the Soul Comp medal, or mark, from getting all the double souls, so doing 3 playthroughs and doing that. Standard mark. So all that's left is Mega Chips, Giga Chips, Program Advances, and defeating Base Omega, finally. And so in order to access Black Earth, which is kind of like the first step, I think all I need is the Evil Chips. Because I have the other things that are needed. 6 double souls. Access to Undernet 5, I already opened that door. All the standard chips, okay. Base must be fought. The final task is gathering the 5 great evil chips to break the seal on Black Earth. Okay, so these are just Mega Chips. Megas and Gigas are the evil chips, I guess. So as I make my way through that process, we'll pull up Program Advances. I will probably make a document for, as far as like ones that I can already do with my current chip folder. I don't really want to do that now. There's 30 of them compared to the usual 32, I want to say. Bosses. Yeah, so this one, enemies. The thing is, I'm a little nervous I'm going to have to do a 4th playthrough if there's like a Mega Chip that is in a mystery data that I didn't pick up or something. But yeah, let me get this all sorted. I guess standard chips I'll deal with later. I think today we'll start with Megas and just see how many I can knock out. Maybe like the non-boss Mega Chips we'll start with. Because I'm gonna need to fight like Shademan and or Laserman Omega and like some other stuff, so yeah, this is gonna be a little bit less optimized than my past post-game completions. think that's everything I need, though. So yeah, here I am right at the Meteor comp. The music seems a little soft to me. It's probably because it's the Super Nintendo ones. But yeah, I've been, I dabbled with quite a lot of games while I was traveling on my, my retro handheld that I have. So, quite a bit to talk about there, though. Nothing too new for you, outside of content stuff. The hiccups, that sucks. But yeah, I know Visions of Mana is coming out very soon. Like, what, within the next week or something like that? And so you're making your way through Trials. I don't know if you did any of the other ones before that, but that's a pretty exciting thing. How do I leave? How do I leave? It's been so long since I jumped into this game that I'm like a little bit lost. Okay. Okay, let's go somewhere familiar real quick. Next week? Nice, nice. Yeah, so I can talk a little bit more once I get into grinding for some stuff. I'm pitifully low on Zenny, which is bad. Super Vulcan, X folder. So I can get this by getting an extra folder, I think. BN4. Extra folders. Mostly technology BS. Let's look at some other things. I got you, I got you. So where are these located? X folder, continue to and later only. A folder made by Mr. Famous. Given by an NPC in Elect Town 1 by the train. Lit. Okay. Super Vulcan acquired without having to spend an insane amount of Zenny. Also, okay, Buster Max is off. I did use Buster Max in this to like get the standard chips. This and BN1 were the only two that I used it on. And I've been like making it a point to like not use it in 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 when we get there. I'm not going to use it on any of the boss fights, I don't think. But maybe for virus grinding, I don't know, just because that rule's already been broken for this game, so I'm like a little bit more lenient on it. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Neo Variable, Shot Star, Park Area 3 Bug Frag Trader, 60 Bug Frags. It looks like the only way to get it. Park Area 3. Oh lord. I need to remember how to get around in this game. Park Area 3. Yeah, so a lot of what I played actually was surprisingly like original Game Boy and NES stuff. Mostly dabbling. Didn't beat a whole lot of games while I was gone. But I messed around with some original Game Boy Color, like not Game Boy Color, but like original Game Boy space color hacks, like hacks that add color to original Game Boy games. And the biggest standout I think was Metroid 2, which I beat for the first time. Albeit I did use save states at times, just because that game is pretty brutal with its doling out of heal spots and stuff like that. I try not to be egregious about it, but there are some rooms that I'm just like, like some areas later on that I'm just like, I'm not doing this. Dabbling with some N64 NSO games. Oh, playing the old Mario parties, that sounds fun. On a controller that doesn't like grind your hand up, I'm sure. Compared to, Color Point work with these? Probably not, but oh, I fucked it up. But yeah, like Metroid 2, I'm just glad that I beat it, so that way I can talk about it. At a certain point. I'm not going to do a video on it, but when I do a Metroid tier list, it won't be like... It won't be one of those things where I'm like, oh, I played this a little bit, but blah, 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 blah. It's more like, no, I beat it with some concessions, but... Oh, wait, are there shortcuts? I'm, like, totally spacing out. But, beat it with some concessions, but I like, got the... You know, I understand it a little bit more. It's fine. It's a fine game. The atmosphere is very unique. I will give it that. Park area. The atmosphere is very unique in a way that the remake doesn't capture, and so I was like aware of that already. Weird use of an arrow over there, but yeah, I was aware of that already, but like playing through it all the way, it's like, yeah, this is very isolationist and like very alien in a way that the other games in the series kind of don't quite capture, and I think part of that is the Game Boy limitations that contribute to said atmosphere. So that's admirable, but like, long story short, made me appreciate Super Metroid a hell of a lot more, and I already really, really love Super Metroid as well. Well, not as well, but you know what I mean. I really love Super Metroid, and playing through Metroid 2 made me appreciate Super Metroid even more than I already do, which I think is something. And you know, I dabbled with Kirby's Dream Land 2 DX. It was like, you know, the fan-made color hack. And Mega Man World 5 as well, which is like the unique classic Mega Man on Game Boy, whereas the previous 4 are like kind of mashups of the NES games. And I think I'm just like not... It's solid, like especially for a Game Boy game, but I just don't think I'm that into the classic Mega Man games as much as I used to be. At least comparatively. As you guys might know, I mean, the first few X games, in particular 1, 2, and 4, have kind of like usurped pretty much all other Mega Man platformers for me. And that's not to say that the other ones don't have value or anything, but as far as my interest, and like something that I was realizing as I dabbled also with a lot of Castlevania games, like older ones, classic-vanias, as it were, and even Ninja Gaiden to an extent, although I think Ninja Gaiden feels pretty great to play, the NES original. But I feel like I feel like I tend to favor platformers that have some kind of momentum involved. It doesn't need to be like to the extent of Sonic the Hedgehog or anything, but you know, Mega Man X, you got the dash. Mario is momentum based as well. Like pretty heavily actually. Especially the original. But what are some other examples? And I guess like Ninja Gaiden was kind of like the one that I ended up dropping it, but I actually was pretty compelled by it. Although I think I would rather scratch that itch by playing The Messenger, which I would highly recommend. As like kind of a Ninja Gaiden-like. With some interesting gameplay twists and stuff like that. Like, and the thing with like... I'm trying to think of other examples, but yeah, I think some momentum element is what I find most compelling. So the Bug Frag Trader is somewhere. I'm gonna pull up a map real quick. Whereas like, you know, classic Mega Man and like the old Castlevania games, they're very stiff. And like there's something to be said with that. It requires, in some sense, more precision. Like it depends on level design, obviously, but like you really have to space your jumps pretty precisely in Castlevania. And it's not that you don't in you know, Sonic or Mario or Mega Man X or whatever. Oh yeah, it's on the board panel down here. I think we have to go up and around real quick. It's not that you don't have to be precise in those games, and in fact, sometimes there is precision in other ways, like pulling it onto a wall. I think there's one of the X2 Sigma stages has like these moving like vertical. Maybe it's X1 actually, but it's one of the first two, and you have to like kind of hang on a wall for a bit, and so there's precision in that way. It's just different because like in Mega Man, in the games that don't have momentum, you have nothing to like. Part of it, so you have nothing to lean on otherwise. But also, because it's not even necessarily because the momentum's a crutch or anything like that for platforming. I just think it's more satisfying to move around in that way. Like Super Meat Boy is another example. Or Godhammer, Undernet 1 PMD. So this is the one that makes me nervous because it's the second run you need to get this. So if I didn't get this PMD on my first run or like any previous run, this could be a problem. In which case I would just save this for basically last and just do like another speedrun playthrough essentially towards the end, but just make sure that I grab anything that I need to before I reset. Yeah, this is pretty annoying. Undernet 1 PMD, we'll go check it. I do need to buy an unlocker, and I need to figure out a good way to farm for Zenny here. God, I forget where unlockers are. I know there's a subship guy right here, though. No. What else? What else? Oh, I played a little bit of SMT2 for the Super Famicom. It's pretty cool. I dabbled with the first one and If as well. Ultimately, I'm not like super into those older games, but I think 2 was the one that grabbed me the most. I want to say the first run for that PMD is a coded fast gauge, not star code. Let me just pull up subship dealers real quick. But yeah, I played a few hours of SMT2, and it's cool. It's got. I'd be interested in a remake for sure. For sure. Unlocker. This. Oh, okay, at the Castillo. Oh, that's right. Isn't it down here? Yeah, Mel Square. Should I buy... Let me just see if there's another PMD. Okay, yeah, I'll just grab another PMD. Or another unlocker, might as well. How to get to the Undernet? We need to go from... What I can do is warp back to my home page, and then warp back. Right? I think this is correct. Or like at least a way to get to... Yeah. Because now we head to Sharo area. Into Nefrica. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, you're right, you're right. You do have to go through Nefrica into Sharo area, then yeah, that's right. I don't even really know what my folder setup is right now because I was doing a lot of Buster maxing throughout the subsequent playthroughs. But I'll mess around with it when it's time to fight bosses. I obviously should be wary of, like, randomly running into somebody, but I'll worry about that once we hit Sharo area with Cold Man. And then, oh yeah, before I left, because I didn't want to security cube connecting normal oh, is there? I'll go there, let me... You might be right. Alright, so... PMD Undernet 1. Let's pull the map real quick. I think I did grab this one on a previous playthrough. I think so. Because I remember, well, maybe it was to buy from this guy's shop, though. We'll find out. Snake M? I'm assuming that is the first. That's got to be the first thingy. Wait. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. There should have definitely been more shortcuts and the like. Sadly, didn't take until... It's crazy that BN6 was like the first one to really do that fully. Obviously, 2 has fast travel and stuff, but Dealer gives coded fast gauges, that's right. I think that's why I would have come over here. Oh, Purple Mystery Data Guide. BN4 Mystery Data. Oh, Rockmania X-Zone has something on this. Undernet 1. Purple. Oh, this is this just green poles? That's random. Good old game facts. Undernet area 1. But I want, Purple Mystery Data, normal mode Mystery Data. Yeah, Undernet wants Snake M, so we're doing another playthrough, boys. God damn it. Yeah, Godhammer, second playthrough. Third playthrough's HP plus 400. Oh, wait a second. Sanctuary. This is gonna be obnoxious. This is why I don't want to do this all in one go. Like, kind of how I split it up with, Yeah, this is the BN4 postgame, alright. Yeah, the postgame is just playing the game again, basically. Maybe multiple times. So, you know, I kind of split up BN3 and did like standard chips and like a lot of the other stuff before coming back and doing bosses and time trials and all that. It's probably what we'll do here. Is like do as much as I can on this difficulty, take a break, and then come back, play through the game again, pick up stuff that I need to pick up, and kind of just do that and chip away at it over a little bit more of a long term. So Godhammer is a bust. At least I know I pushed it to the next playthrough, so I'll get it on the next run. Undernet 1, which is very late game. And I guess we're going to need to be able to access Black Earth, which requires you to get late in the game anyway, but... Undernet 4 PMD for Guardian. I think I already had that one, didn't I? No, I did not. I lied. Undernet 4 PMD. I also need BN4. Do you guys know a good way to farm Zenny here? Use a lock enemy subchip on a virus in the Undernet that has an in-game green mystery data. Nefrica with Untrap? Okay, okay. Don't have the shot. I might. I'd have to check. Nefrica gives like 2k or so per pull. Yeah, I could ask for trades. That's always an option. It's just more so because like the only I don't think I've done any trades so far because I still haven't gotten those secret chips for BN2. But BN3, like the only online stuff that I did for BN3 was alternate versions, like being able to get Mistman, like getting that purchased. And I even earned those chips in the opposite version anyway. For this, I don't know exactly. I guess my point is, like, I haven't really traded for chips thus far, and so I kind of like the idea of not. But it's gonna be... This is gonna be a kind of a chore, but I kind of knew that going in. The payoff is gonna be getting to play BN5 more, which is great, but... Because the thing is, before we go deeper into the Undernet, like, there's more mystery, there's more PMDs than unlockers that I have in the Undernet even, because I think there's one in, where did it go? I don't need this open. Undernet 4 PMD, Undernet 5 Net Dealer. Yeah, there's like other PMDs that I'm gonna need. You know what? I keep contradicting myself. Let's just go to Undernet 4 right now. I'm just going to go in order because it's going to be too much to keep track of. I don't want to buy more PMDs than I need. And I just don't want to complicate things. I think the best way to go about this is to... The best way to go about this is to just, like, go in order. Also, just for BN4, I'm just going to do this. Just to cut down a little bit on the tedium. Do I have sneak runs? I've got 2. Can make it a Zenny run too. That's true. I can untrap real quick. I should have done that before that previous GMD. So let me pull up a map real quick. Dude, you guys know I don't like BN4 very much, but I was like using these maps so much compared to the other games where I have like a lot of the areas memorized. But this Undernet in particular is like very... Yeah, under 4 is where Shademan is. And so... This is the straightforward one. I think getting to some of the other areas is a little more roundabout. Like, there's 2 different paths, basically. Thing is, I've been through here a lot of where we can go this way. No, I can't. Wait. Oh, I misread the map. Whoops. Yeah, it's very... I mean, it's cool in the way that it reflects the danger, but I just don't know these maps as well as I know like 2, 3, 5, and 6 in particular. Oh, I did acquire the DS version of BN1. I haven't played it at all, but I did acquire it just so I have access to it because I would like to play it at some point. What was I saying? Before I left, I decided to dabble with the Zelda 64 recompilation. Not the decompilation, although that did help, I think, with this process, but the recompilation, which was apparently like it's done. Like, you can play Majora's Mask on PC through this recompilation, and it is awesome. Playing Majora's Mask at high frame rate, I think, fixes a lot of my issues with it. Like, actually. There's still some tedium and some, like, obtuseness for sure, but since I've played through it all the way once, and I've also, you know, played the early game several times in the past, this playthrough's been going pretty smoothly, actually. I never would have thought that I would just jump into Majora's Mask and play it again. But, like, I did Woodfall and, like, some other side stuff on one cycle. I did Snowhead, I think, on the second. And now I'm on third cycle and I'm in Great Bay. And it's been, like, a pretty efficient playthrough thus far. Like, just got the Zora's Mask. I've got, like, 3 bottles, I think, which is unfortunate because you kind of want 4 for the, Pirate Fortress, but yeah, like it has a lot of the quality of life sorts of things from Redux, like having the masks auto-bound to the D-pad, in addition to having the 3 like C buttons for items. So it's kind of like playing Majora's Mask Redux, which I streamed on the channel, but at 60 FPS or higher. We'll be playing Majora's Mask pretty soon, thanks to NSO. I would point you towards the recompilation, personally. But just because some of the quality of life things, like having extra item binds... What's up, Eric? Thank you, thank you. It's good to be back. It certainly is. Alright, so these teleporters... Yes, this is the way to Undernet 4. Is the room where it splits off. But, I think the developer of the Majora's Mask or Zelda 64 recompilation has plans to add Ocarina of Time functionality to it, which is pretty cool. I've mentioned this a lot in the past, but like I know a lot of Majora's Mask fans, or at least some, kind of praise Majora's Mask at the expense of Ocarina, but I'm like, well, those games are so similar, and like Majora's Mask is literally built from things that were in Ocarina and stuff like that. So it's weird to like kind of snub Ocarina. I think it's just cool to have both, because I like both a lot. They're among my favorite Zelda games, and probably among my favorite games like ever at this point. Majora took a while to like hit that status, but I think it's one of those where I streamed it, I had some complaints about tedium and obtuseness, even as someone who was pretty familiar with certain aspects of it. But in reflecting on it, and now having like played through a good chunk of it again... Oh wait, we're going the wrong way. It's, No, this works. Basically, it's one of those where, the more I've thought about it since my last playthrough, and now that I'm playing through it again, Oh, shit. I don't know what my folder is. Like, I literally do not know what this folder is. If things go really badly, I will Buster Max my way out of this. Oh, wait a second. I have no idea how to fight this guy. Will this work? Oh, wait a second. Isn't this a problem because, it's like the air shot is fucking with it, I think. Actually, I want Mole. I think I'm gonna go Fire Soul. A new Toon Link game would be cool. I would agree. Well. I was not vigilant enough. Where did I save? Great, okay. This is the BN4 experience, at least when you're bad. At least when you're, well, when you're unprepared, at least. Never played Majora's Mask, so I think now is a good time. Yeah, it's, there's definitely some tedium and obtuse things that I would say, like, don't be afraid to, like, look stuff up if you think it's necessary, because it can be obtuse in a way that Ocarina of Time, I feel like, isn't. Though I do think some younger gamers have found Ocarina to be obtuse. But I guess since I, like, sort of grew up with it, kind of. Like, I didn't play it till Wii Virtual Console, but I was, like, what, 12 or something at the time? By the time I actually played it. Like, post-Brawl, I think. Maybe, but, or something like that, but... Shit. BN4 experiences when you turn your brain off and grind and a boss just shows up, yeah. There's, like, so many bosses in this game, which is kind of cool on one hand, but I totally just pressed L as if I was playing SMT2 to pull up the map, which is very funny. Also, I went the wrong way, didn't I? Fuck. Oh, what was I saying, though? But, the thing I'll say about Majora's Mask is, like, the atmosphere is, like, in a sense, like, kind of unparalleled in the series, in that there's not really any other game that does it quite the same. Like, I love the atmosphere in a lot of Zelda games, but Majora's Mask's atmosphere is so distinct. And, like, kind of, it's both uncomfortable and comforting kind of at the same time in a very weird way that is hard to describe. And so I think just existing in that world and kind of getting lost is fun in its own way. Although, of course, you have the time loop thing, but, you know, you can... Once you do the events of the first cycle and you're able to actually loop on command, then you don't really have to worry about game overing or anything like that. But there is still, like, kind of that anxiety and sort of dread built in. And it's definitely one of those games that took many attempts at starting it until, like, I actually finished it. Yeah, and all the side quests and the way that they overlap and, like, all that. The fun part about it to me, now that, as someone who's more familiar with it, is, like, remembering, oh wait, I can do this at this time, and then I can go do the dungeon, or, like, I can do part of the dungeon, then jump out before it's too late to get this other mask, and, like, kind of juggling all those things at once is eventually what becomes fun about it. But I think it's very easy to get overwhelmed, I think. At least for me. I felt that when I was younger. Like, it was easy to get overwhelmed by just, like, all the things that you could be doing. And so like, right now, it's, like, capitalizing on doing as much as I can in a given cycle is, like, the fun part, but also kind of the stressful part, but that's also kind of fun in a weird way. I swear to God. Okay. But yeah, so I've been kind of like slowly chipping away at that. I think I did like Woodfall and like leading up to Snowhead. So we got Guardian. Before I left, and then when I got back, I did like Snowhead, and now I'm debating if I want to do Pirate Fortress with only 3 bottles, which is a little annoying. There's not a great way for me to like get another bottle without... I hate the Pirate Fortress if you have to go through it multiple times. Prioritize getting bottles, Gustavo. If you can. Like, figure out how to get bottles before you get to Great Bay, because it can be pretty annoying at that point. And that's the point where I usually fall off, or that's historically where I've fallen off. Because I think the game prior to that is like, it's a little obtuse, but I think it's like much more straightforward in the early goings, which makes sense. Jealousy, we've got Bug Chain, Undernet 5. There's a typo in this. It says Black Earth BGMD. I don't know if it's a BMD or a GMD. I'm assuming it's a BMD. Yeah, get the bottles. I think there's like... Aren't there like 6 bottles or something stupid? Usually there's 4 in most Zelda games. I think there's 6. Right. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5... Yeah, there's 6. I actually think the 3DS version added bottles, it looks like, too. Yeah, those fucking Zora eggs, dude. Annoy the shit out of me. So if you can at least have... If you can get 4 bottles before Great Bay, you'll be fine. And you'll get on fine with 3, but it's just you'll have to go to this one place twice, which is like a little annoying. But yeah, it's a very, very cool game. This just in. Guy who makes YouTube videos thinks Majora's Mask is good. Wow. What a brave opinion. Bug Chain. Oh, I know what I was gonna look up. Is it Bug Chain, or am I spelling it wrong? Bug Chain. This is Black Earth mystery data, but it's not coming up in this mystery data guide for some reason. See lots of bug frags. Alright, I guess, this is one that I need to buy for 22k, so let's grind Zenny for a while. I do have... I'm gonna want sneak runs. There's I think it's Undernet 5, but yes, it is a net dealer. Not getting me 10k? God damn. I'm gonna want... Oh, man. Just gotta take... Baby steps, baby steps. Just gotta, like, take it slow with this. Alright, let's see. I should come out with more Zenny to buy more untraps. What's the fastest way? I guess just going to Netfrica is probably the best way to do it, right? Maybe. the dread is setting in. Yeah. Just chip away at it. I can always... There's plenty of other stuff I can stream, like, in between. I think I'll do this kind of like I've done the previous times. Like, do this for, like, a week or 2. Then, like, do something else. Yeah, how much... Yeah, I know. I know. I'm definitely gonna cheese the lock enemies and sneak runs if I can, with the bosses. Assuming... Yeah, I know there's randomly roaming bosses. That's definitely a thing. Although some of them I know are in... A lot of them are in set spots, from what I understand. At least because I haven't fought the V2s yet. but yeah. I'll sneak run once I get through here. Yeah, so Majora's Mask is great. The recompilation is like, it's not even completely done yet. I know there's other features they want to add. But, highly recommend. I don't know how demanding it is on PC. I can't imagine it's that demanding. It's an N64 game. Granted, it's running natively, but like, come on now. I just need to figure out where the GMDs spawn even. Was there anything else I played on the trip that was noteworthy? I think Metroid 2 is the main one, which I already talked about a little bit. Metroid 2 is the main one, and just kind of discovering that thing about momentum in platformers, and that's kind of like a factor in what makes them enjoyable for me. Not that I can't enjoy one with like a set static speed, but watch out for Kendo. I don't think I fought his V2, but that would be annoying. In fact, let me look at where he is so I can like not proc him by accident. Oh, he's over by that BMD, so I don't really have a reason to go over there. He's like way out of the way, which is good. $1900. I guess this will be a slow ramp up then. Like, is it worth it for me? I feel like it's worth it for me to maybe go through the Undernet as well, like while I have the Untrap active. That's on the other side. But yeah, when I got back, what I decided to jump into was Nier Replicant, and I got to ending A, basically like was rushing through it, so I got to ending A in about 10 hours, and dropped it. It was totally fine. It was fine. But I'm just like, I wasn't super into it, to be honest. Not really much more to say than that. Just like, wasn't really into it. I will play Automata at some point. That's kind of my plan, is to like do that. I looked into some of the lore and like, you know, later like story stuff just for context in Replicant. It doesn't seem like it's... I feel like it's one of those where you could maybe, as someone who hasn't played Nier Automata yet, you could probably get away with playing Automata first, and then either playing Replicant or just looking into Replicant lore for the sake of filling in the gaps, or like context or whatever. Though I guess if you do end up enjoying Replicant for what it is, then that's valuable in and of itself, but I just didn't really buy into it, I guess. Much of the time. This is the wrong guy. And you could answer that. Yeah, because I know you've played Automata, but I don't... Is Replicant on Switch? And or have you played Replicant? they seem more tied in like lore from what I understand, as opposed to like actual story events. Maybe there's characters that show up, but like, what am I doing here? I'm just gonna try to brute force this and like memorize where certain subships are purchasable. All right, so sneak runs and untraps. This is my guy. He's got that good shit. Haven't played Replicant. Not on Switch. You have played Automata. Okay. And do you like know? Do you happen to know like if the connections are really that valuable? I feel like a lot of people, because Replicant came out after, even though it was a remake of an earlier title, of like, you know, the first Nier game, I feel like a lot of people played Automata first. And so I feel like that has to be like somewhat of a safer entry point, I guess. I want to play Replicant because it was a remake of the first game, and like I generally, if I can, like to play games in order of release to some effect, quote unquote, even if it is a remake, but you have a friend who loves that game. Always gush about it whenever he brings it up. Replicant specifically, or Automata? Because I know there are people who are like fervent fans of Replicant. He did a playthrough of Nier Gestalt. Right. So what's funny is Gestalt, I think the Japanese version of the original Nier was called Replicant, but then the Western version was Gestalt, and they localized it. When they localized it, or they made two different versions, where the Western one is the adult, like the middle-aged man, whereas the Japanese version is like it is in the remake, where it's like, you know, a young boy who turns into like a young man after the time skip or whatever. It's funny because they didn't think that the little anime boy was going to be appealing at the time, which maybe was the right choice. I think that's kind of a funny thing to look back on, though, because you have Papa Nier, as they call him, in Gestalt specifically. But the story content's largely the same from what I understand, just like a few different lines of dialogue and stuff. You think both? That makes sense. And I mean, maybe it's possible that I come to appreciate Replicant more after playing Automata, but like, even just the gameplay experience, I was not super into. Again, it was fine. It was perfectly fine. That's as nice as I'm gonna be about it, though. I don't really have much more to say about it, regardless. Like, I guess the big thing would be that there were story moments where I could tell they wanted me to feel something and I just didn't really. Or like I felt an inkling, but I just didn't feel connected enough to the characters to fully buy into it. I just didn't buy into it fully. Not that I was like closed off to it or anything, it just didn't resonate with me. You know what I'm playing right now that fucking slaps? Is Hollow Knight. I'm a believer. I'm a believer now. I'm a Hollow Knight believer. I don't know what clicked with me. I don't know if it was playing Dark Souls 3 last month or what, but I am like well on the road to 100%ing Hollow Knight. Like, actually. Black Myth comes out this week. Asking it for Visions. Hey, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, what you've been hearing on the technical side is not running too great. Black Myth, you mean? Or to be vague, it's sort of how 02 and 03 have lore behind the data discs. Mega Man Zero being Automata. Dude, Hollow Knight... I'm gonna do a video on it, I think. But it's, I played for about... I feel like I started it once on Switch, maybe, but I don't know how much I played. And then maybe about 2 years ago... About 2 years ago, I played 10 hours of Hollow Knight. And then this time around, I got that far, if not further, in like half that time, which was kind of wild. I'm currently like 15, maybe 17 hours in. I can beat the game whenever I want. Like, the final boss is available. I think actually the best ending is available, or at least I did a lot of the side stuff that like allows you to fight the secret final boss, I think, and stuff like that. What really did it for me was I looked into a lot of... I actually watched a lot of lore videos on Hollow Knight. Maybe within the past month or two. Because I knew I wanted to go back to it before Silksong comes out, and like, who knows when that's going to happen. But... And I was excited for Silksong, but I fell off of Hollow Knight because I felt like it was too large. And... I felt like I had a hard time keeping track of like where I should be going, kind of deal. And I get that it's a Metroidvania, so getting lost is like kind of part of it, sorta. But the map is pretty big compared to a lot of Metroidvanias, I think. But I actually don't feel that way so much now. Although I do think that it could have stood to have more fast travel points. I do think the fast travel points are a little... just like a little too sparse. So we're like getting... oh shit. Getting to some of the inner areas can be a little bit tedious, but it's actually not too bad. And I'm not sure totally if it's because... I'm not sure if it's totally because I had that experience prior, or if, like I said, I played Dark Souls 3 last month, fought all the optional bosses and stuff. I didn't do any of the DLC, but I did pretty much everything there is to do in the main game in DS3. Just like kind of out of nowhere. And you know what's funny is playing through Nier Replicant made me appreciate Dark Souls 3 quite a bit more. Especially from like a gameplay standpoint. Oh, you did get around to beating Armor Core 6? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I will yeah, I'm gonna convert y'all to the Hollow Knight faith. I think the lore is really interesting. What's his name? Is it Mossbag is the big Hollow Knight lore channel? Very interesting stuff. I also fucked this up majorly because I didn't untrap immediately. But, combat's really satisfying. Just like moving the knight around feels really good. I think the hand-drawn art style is gorgeous. The atmosphere and like the feeling of isolation and at times like discomfort is really... It's just like really... Presentationally, like I have almost nothing bad to say about it, like at all. And then from a gameplay standpoint, I will just say there are some segments where it tries to be Super Meat Boy, and while the platforming and the control does feel tight, it is not... It's not Super Meat Boy tight, and so like those moments can feel a little bit frustrating. There's kind of ways to get around it. Like there's a charm you can equip that allows you to regen health if you need to, but it's like for those segments. Because the thing about Super Meat Boy is that like infinite lives. So you can die as many times as you want, but you can like keep attempting your current challenge. Whereas some of these segments in Hollow Knight can go on for a while, and if you do die, like you don't actually die in these segments, but you do get booted back to like the last like bench you rested at, as opposed to the automated checkpoints. But I don't want to talk too much about it because I will likely do a video on it. My god. Got the stream. Oh, you got the stream archived? Took you 3+ hours to kill the damn boss. That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna... I'm not, like, particularly interested in Armored Core, personally. Like, just something about, like, mecha stuff just doesn't really... It's never really appealed to me that much. Not totally sure why. Like, the robots are cool and stuff. Maybe it's because it feels impersonal. I know there's, like, people piloting the robots, but, like... I don't know. I haven't really put too much thought into it. All I know is that mecha stuff has not really historically grabbed me. But I understand Armored Core 6 is very good. Can I get some Zenny? I guess I might as well fight any viruses that come up, right? One sec. Characters are there, but don't personally see the characters outside. Right. I don't know that that's like the core reason or anything. I did not mean to make that pun, but it's yeah, like custom robo and stuff like that. Yeah, like yeah, a passing interest maybe. I feel like there was a GameCube generation custom robo game or something to that effect that I remember playing at friends' houses. I think there was a GBA game as well that I remember thinking was pretty neat, but not anything that I ever felt drawn to beyond that. Yeah, no, I feel you. Xenoblade changed that somehow. So don't go out of your way for mecha type stuff. Yeah, I know, like, I know Xenoblade X is, like, very mecha-focused, and I know that, like, Xenoblade 1, like, one of the environments is, like, a giant... It's not a spoiler, like, I don't think it's a spoiler, at least. Like, oh god, what are they called? God damn it. It's Mechon. Isn't it Mechon and... One of them is, like, made of, like, biology. Like, you know, like grass and shit. And the other one is, like, entirely robotic. So I guess I can see where that... What's down? I'm so shit, dude. my eyes are, like, totally glazed over right now. But yeah, Hollow Knight is fucking great. It's hard for me to say as of yet if it's going to be one of those where I want to replay it. There is plenty of incentive to do that, I would say, for, like, you know, the usual Metroidvania reasons, right? Getting faster, more efficient, doing things in different orders and whatever, I'm sure. In addition to, like, you know, difficulty modes and shit, but... Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like most Metroidvanias, I don't go out of my way to 100%, even my most favorite ones. Like, Metroid Dread, I think, is awesome, but I've not 100%ed it, nor do I necessarily feel a draw to do that. And I think a lot of the reason behind that is that it doesn't feel totally necessary to me, I guess. In Dread, like, even on hard mode without 100%ing, I dealt with the final boss just fine. And there's not really, like, you know, optional super bosses and stuff like that, whereas in Hollow Knight, there's a lot of secret bosses. Kind of in... I see the comparison to Souls, not just in the fact that you know, drop your currency when you die and have to go pick it back up kind of deal. Because, I mean, Shovel Knight does that, and that's not a Souls-like. But more so, like the optional bosses and kind of stuff, I feel like that... Maybe in the indie space it's more common, but I feel like in actual Metroid games and in actual Castlevania games, it's not terribly common to have a bunch of optional bosses. Maybe more so in Castlevania. I'm trying to think if there's any, like, there might be bosses you can skip, technically, in certain Metroid games, but, like, I wouldn't necessarily call them optional, because most of the time... like Super Metroid, literally to get to the last area, you have to beat the 4 major bosses. Metroid 2, literally no optional bosses, because killing all the Metroids is like your objective. The original Metroid, it's like, yeah, you have to beat Kraid and Ridley to go to the last area to fight Mother Brain. And maybe there's some mini-bosses you can skip here and there. Although then, like, what's the distinction between a mini-boss and a regular boss? Like, I don't... It's kind of a gray area, I guess. Maybe it's because Metroid defines its core bosses as being necessary, largely, that makes the other bosses feel like mini-bosses. Fusion is so linear that I don't think there's anything, or much of anything that you can skip, really. And then Dread, there's definitely stuff you can skip. But it's not really, like, kind of in the same... It's just the volume of bosses is a lot lower, I think. Hollow Knight has so many boss fights. Some rematches and stuff like that, too. And, it actually hasn't been that hard this time around. I don't think I've lost any Geo. In fact. Like, I've died a few times, but I've always been able to go get it. And haven't really had much of an issue doing that. So your experience may vary. If you end up dying a lot, especially if you die and you, like, you know, lose your Geo, that would definitely impact the play experience, which makes me kind of think that that system doesn't necessarily need to be there. Like, actually. Because it hasn't really, like, punished me at all in my playthrough, and I don't feel like the game is lacking in difficulty or incentive to explore or anything like that because of it. I think that's everything for this run. And even as someone who was, like, kind of lukewarm on Hollow Knight until recently, having, you know, played that 10-hour run that I fell off of a few years ago, I was still looking forward to Silksong because I thought the new movement, like the mobility of how Hornet looks to control, looks like going from point A to point B won't feel as tedious as it is at times in Hollow Knight. But again, it hasn't been that bad. It's just like doubling back for some secrets and stuff like that is a little just a little bit tedious, just a bit. But yeah, like the movement options in Silksong, and just like any lessons that Team Cherry may have learned for making Hollow Knight and releasing it and doing the DLC and stuff, being put into Silksong's development made me interested as someone, again, who wasn't like super hot on Hollow Knight to begin with. But now that I'm like pretty much all in on Hollow Knight, I'm like very excited for Silksong now. And very much so. And part of me is kind of glad that I didn't get super invested back in 2017 or whatever, because it's been so long, and it will likely be even longer. But I'm gonna use my Battle Network Legacy Collection, Persona 3 Remake, Manifestation powers to get Silksong released sooner than later. I'm gonna put my energy out into the world, and I'm gonna physically will Silksong into a state of having a release date at least. That's my next. That's the next game that I'm gonna manifest. Although we already know it exists. It's just not out yet. And I guess speaking of video game release dates, The Plucky Squire is an indie game that I had my eyes on that has a release date now. And it comes out the same day that Final Fantasy XVI is coming to PC. Which just got announced. That release date just got announced today for FF16. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, long wait. Yeah, for sure. Right, 2017. I know the DLC, like the free DLC stuff, was added. I don't know how, like, when that stopped being released. I'm gonna look that up real quick because I'm just curious. August 2018. So 6 years ago, the final DLC for Hollow Knight was released. When did it was like early 2017, right? Early-ish. For Windows. Oh, it was like the day before my birthday in 2017. That's funny. Elden Ring came out on my birthday too. That's like a popular release day. I think because my birthday typically lands on like a Friday a lot of the time. Tokyo Xanadu Plus. Tokyo Xanadu. Role-playing game. I'll keep this tab up to look at it. Oh, is it made by Falcom? Oh, it's on Steam, too. Oh, it is Falcom, okay. I haven't gotten into Trails yet, but, I do intend to do that. I'm gonna wishlist this real quick, just so I can take a look at it later. So I'll remember. $60. Arxis worked on it. Interesting. Alright, we have 1600 Zenny. What was I grinding Zenny for again? I mean, lots of stuff, but Bug Chain, Undernet 5, and Net Dealer 22k. So I still don't even have. I mean, granted, this is just one batch of untraps. And maybe there's a more efficient way that I can do this, but it seems pretty painless. I don't know if have we seen 2 Zenny drops in one go? I don't think so. Yeah, unlockers was one of them. I want to count how many unlockers I actually need, though, and then just buy all of them. So I might just do that off stream. Just once? Okay, so once we get, if we get the Zenny drop on the first GMD, I'm just gonna jack out and do another run. Yeah, so that was the chip, which means we don't leave. Did I have Yumland scenario discontinue? Oh. Who do you fight? Is it a normal Navi for Yumland? Okay, just no Zenny that time, great. I feel like maybe yes, but I don't know if that was in this game or Blue Moon. Because I know I didn't actually get Yumland scenario until, like, many playthroughs in, for whatever reason. Electown is my guy. In the back alley. typically I try to avoid doing this kind of stuff on stream, just because I'd rather do this kind of stuff off stream and then come back and like do the more meaningful content, but I'm not gonna do this for like hours or anything, but let's at least get enough for this chip from the Undernet 5 dealer so I can kind of just continue going in order. Junk and Wind. Area grab. I can potentially get lucky with a chip trader as well. It's always an option. Need to pay for the security code. I feel like I do have access currently, but it's hard to say for sure because it's been a while. I mean, I think it's literally been since I streamed BN5, which is probably about a year ago, that I last played BN4. I might as well just grab this one because it's right here. Alright, I just need one more Zenny drop. We can come back and do this again if I need to. Which I likely will just for an unlocker. In fact, maybe I'll push to like 30k so I can buy 2 unlockers if I need to. Well, actually, I might as well just buy the 2 unlockers because one of them is in Undernet 5 as well. From what it looks like. Yeah. There's one. Let me just make sure this isn't over here. It's not. Recovery 150. Anyone need any Recovery 150Zs? Crazy. But yeah, I guess next, once I'm done with Hollow Knight, or maybe even, well, no, I feel so compelled by Hollow Knight that I think whenever I do sit down to game, it's just like what I kind of default boot into. But I guess what would be next would be like Yakuza 5 is next for Yakuza, and then I still haven't jumped into Three Houses again. I don't want to force it, you know. I did play through Cinder Shadows just to like get through it on a new save or whatever, but I don't really think Cinder Shadows is that good. The Three Houses like story DLC, but unlocking those new characters is worth it because I think those characters are really solid, and just having more options to pick from in your various playthroughs is nice since you can recruit them in the main game. But I haven't sat down to like actually play the main game, so but that will be Next, I did play a few chapters of Thracia, like, from the start, again. This time with, like, the quality of life hack that's out there called Little Manster. And, I mean, not really much to say, because I already liked the early game of Thracia, largely. It was the late game that I started falling off. But I don't think that's a playthrough I'm going to commit to, it's just more like, I can just kind of jump in, dabble with it whenever. Nintendo Direct showing up the museum. Yeah, I saw the live stream in my recommended. I didn't tune in at all, though. That's pretty interesting, though. Very storied company, for sure. So it is fitting that they do have a museum. Alright, just one more Zenny drop. We can stop doing this for now. Which is convenient if it happens this time, because then I... Oh, well, I guess if I need to buy more... Maybe I just buy one unlocker then. We'll just use these up. Notable part was playing older games with an oversized controller. Interesting. Require 2 people. Oh, wow. So one person on the D-pad and then one person on the face buttons. That's pretty fun. I'm actually going to restock. Yeah, because this will be enough for me to get, When I need 2,200, I need 2,600 basically. I'm gonna just buy just 2 more of those, because why not? Having some full energies is never a bad thing. The unlockers were over here. And then Undernet 5 is where I need to go next. Actually, there's another PMD in Yumland area, so probably... You know what? We will, I'll earn the rest of this Zenny on my way. On my way to Undernet 5. I think that'll be doable. Any other PMDs? Yes, Double Point. Some of these I might already have, though. We'll just keep going in order. No. Just go this way. I'm just seeing people in the back playing Wii games with a 4-inch or 4-foot long Wiimote. Interesting. That actually sounds like kind of fun to check out. This way. Beep-a-boo. Beep-beep-beep. Might as well just throw those on. Because I guess we're going to cut through Nefrica one more time again anyway. Is conveniently the playlist I've been listening to recently. And it just happens to be what I typically throw on for these streams. You know, it's Mega Man related. It slaps. Granted, I have a Classic and Zero playlist too that I will frequent every now and then, but something about the Mega Man X... I think I'm just a Mega Man X guy. I think that much is clear. And Battle Network, of course. And there are games in the other series that I really like as well. Like, of course, Star Force 3 impressed me a lot. And the Zero games are solid as well. N64 controller bigger than a king-sized bed. What? That's crazy. I can't even, like... No footage of people playing it, though. You take, like, 5 people. Yeah, 1 person per, like, cluster of buttons, basically. I wonder how hard it is to, like, move the control stick around, even. But I think it is safe to say, though, for this playthrough, like, before we do a New Game Plus, or, like, playthrough 4, I think, like, the end goal will be to, like, get to Black Earth. Like, so get the evil chips or whatever that are required to get in there. We'll fight base once, do what I can. And then it'll be, like, road to base Omega or whatever he's called. And doing the rest on, like, subsequent playthroughs and shit. Oh, fuck. Oops. Wait, ugh. I went backwards, didn't I? No, I take the slider. I'm trying to, like, memorize this, so that way I don't have to keep looking at the maps. And I had to run through here a lot during my during my standard ship farming. Oh, I see where I'm fucking up. I do have to go down that red path. Whoops. God damn it. At least I'm getting these GMDs. Not Zenny, though, but... Evil chips are definitely possible. There's a door before Black Earth 2. It's a standard chips, from what I looked into, which I already have. So that's like a big... I kind of resented the fact that I had to get all the standard chips to get certain, to get a particular trophy in the game, and, like, achievement on Steam, as it were. They're called trophies in game, so, you know. But, let me just look at the Undernet 5 map real quick. Yeah, that's a dead end, that other one. Okay, so I know where I'm going. But, yeah, so I kind of resented having to do that. But now, like... Oh, wait a second, this way. But now that, I'm actually going for 100%, I'm kind of, like, glad that I got that out of the way last year. Because that was, like, a major thing. I mean, you look at my save time. It was, like 25 hours or something like that. Maybe even more because of maybe some saves coming. Probably not a ton. That's usually when you're trying to find bosses. When you would save scum, but it's like actually like 25 hours like real time. Granted, with some buster maxing even, so it would have been longer if I didn't do that. Yeah, it's just these. You just take these first 2 blue paths. Beep, ba, 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 ba. Oh, I have just enough money too. So Undernet 5. Bug Chain is the net dealer. Sanctuary is the one that I'm looking for. That's playthrough 1. So that's like a guaranteed drop. Sanctuary is B. C is Neo Variable, which I already have, which is the one that's closest to me. Yeah, this way. It's kind of fun that this theme got remade in X5 for a Tidal Whale or Duff McWhalen. Wait a second. Cossack's Lab, you're slipping. I think this is wrong. I need to spawn Laserman in here too. Yeah, I mean, there's Oh, I'm so glad that I didn't destroy the GMD, okay. What the fuck? Do I already have Sanctuary? Wait, maybe I do already have it. Oh, I do. Oh. Well, we have to go to the shop, though. I was very confused for a second. I was like, wait a second. Wait a damn second. Okay, it's back to this little circular thing. I'm gonna just go this way. Bug Chain. Oh, I'm gonna need attack 30 too, aren't I? It is a mega chip, in fact. God damn it. Cross the bridge when we get there. Maybe I grind for that off stream. How many mega chips are there? 60? We are 1/4 of the way there. This is a subsequent playthrough. Number 10. Life Aura. Black Earth 1 BMD. Can't get that yet. So, we wait on that. 12. Attack 30. 28k, baby. Fuck. Okay. Maybe we go check on... Oh, I already have double point. Undernet 5 heal Navi after base. I don't really want to fight base right now. I don't. I want to like look at my folder and my Navi cust and like actually figure shit out before I do that. So we'll hold off on that. Attack 30. Do I want to grind for that right now? How long have I been streaming for? Hmm. 28k. So what? Each drop is around 2 grand, or averages around 2 grand, so that'd be like 14 drops. Doesn't always drop. LM Dark and Undernet 6 S rank needed. I think Laserman and Shademan do share the same Giga chip, actually, because what I saw when I was looking at the evil chips, it said like either you fight Laserman Omega or Shademan Omega to get that. Anubis. Oh wait, Muramasa and Anubis is Undernet 5 heal Navi after base. And then the LM Dark. LM Pro EX? What the fuck is LM... Emperor? Oh, these guys. Black Earth 1, Undernet 6. It's a 50-50 on an S rank. Black Heal Navy spawn, giving you gauntlets to get the evil chips. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Blackwing is the same thing. Undernet 5, Heal Navy after base. I think Emperor EX, like getting Elemental Dark or whatever it's called. They spawn in Black Earth, so I almost kind of want to just save that, because Undernet 6, despite us being on Undernet 5, is actually a little out of the way, because we have to go back to, like, Undernet 3. Yeah, I'd have to go back to Undernet 3, unfortunately. And plus, I think, isn't Black Earth's entrance from Undernet 6? Yeah. So, on our way to Black Earth, once I unlock that... Maybe I should just fight base right now. I mean, I don't want to cheese him too much with, like, Buster Max or whatever, but I'm gonna have to double back through these areas so many times anyway, I feel like. So I think I'm just gonna hold off. Alright, so... Just to confirm, I have to get this on a subsequent playthrough, unfortunately. Number 10 was Black Earth. Number 12, I need to farm Zenny for. 14, 15, 16, and 17, I'm waiting on, because these are more easily acquirable. Or, well, I need to, like, unlock Black Earth first, basically. More or less. I can just fight base, but you know what I mean. 18, I have... and then we get into the Navi chips. Okay. So 19 and on is all Navi chips. So it's like roll SP, roll DS. SPDS, 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 SPDS. Game Boy Advance SP, Nintendo DS. Game Boy Advance, definitely a coincidence, I think. But that is funny. Just make sure... Am I gonna have to get... Is there a way for me to, like, buy the Blue Moon chips? Like you can buy Mistman in, BN3? Like where you kind of, like, mix records or whatever they call it in Battle Network? There's gotta be something like that, I would imagine. Yeah, okay, so this is, like, all Navi chips from 19 to 60. I don't think I have a single one. No, I have Top Man. And Cold Man and Sparkman. And Shademan SP. But not Shademan. I have to, like, be bad at fighting Shademan, actually. Wait. I must have Buster Max this fucker. There's no way I did that. Like, went out of my way to do that for real, though. Comparing libraries would let me do that? Okay. So that'll do, like, that's like a very late thing that I'll do, of course. Now, let's look at Giga Chips real quick. Wow, they actually have them... See, BN3 didn't tell you how many Mega Chips there were. Or Gigas. In fact, I think BN3 was the first time where it categorized, right? I think? Like, even just having a separate tab. But anyway, 5 Giga Chips. Holy Dream, Undernet 4 Bug Frag Trader, 100 Bug Frags. I have half of that. So that's fun. Base, from fighting Base. And then from fighting Base Omega or Base XX. Separation of chip classes, yeah. It's interesting. BN2 just needs a couple of refinements. And like, I think BN2 is great. There's just a couple of refinements, like, okay, I shouldn't be able to run 5 Toadman V3s in my folder. Among some other things, where I'm just like, getting a new style change doesn't need to take this many battles. And, let me improve one without having to use recovery chips and shit, you know what I mean? Black Barrier or Bug Curse in Red Sun. It's a Black Barrier in this one. And then interesting, they give you the distinction. So are you able to get the Blue Moon Giga Chips from comparing libraries, or is this like actually... Because like, there's 60 here, so obviously the version exclusives are included, but this doesn't have 10. It doesn't show 10 at least, which is interesting. And then do I need all the secret chips? Probably not, right? I don't think there's anything... It just says, like, for title marks, it was just Megas, Gigas, Program Advances, and then Base. GS or XX or whatever. Gigas are locked. Megas of the other version are classified as secret. Interesting, okay. How many secret chips are there? Oh, there's a lot. Wow, there's a lot. 38? Z Saver. Gotta love that that old translation or whatever. Unregistered chips, pre-power, and duo. I have 4 out of 30 program advances. This I'll deal with, I'll make a document and like kind of fill in what I have. Because I have all the standard chips, it's possible that I can do quite a bit of them, actually. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, maybe... I must have chip traded away a bunch, right? Like, that has to be what's going on here. Well, there's a Giga Cannon 2 right there. Just in this folder. Attorney gives 3 standard chips to the other versions and Abby's. Interesting. Big pain to get. No, I'm sure. I'm glad that I don't have to do that shit. I know this is a little anticlimactic. I kind of want to just grind the Zenny for attack plus 30. Just so I have it. Because then I know this is next playthrough, but then it's number 10, right? No, it's not. This is Black Earth. I get 12, and then I know that like 14, like the rest of these then are like for a little bit later. As a kid, you try to get all the secret chips, but never succeeded, yeah. That sounds, if you wanted to play one game for the rest of your life, I mean, BN4 certainly has the content. I wouldn't say that it is like the highest quality content ever, but it has, like when you're a kid, I feel like, I'm not surprised, I should say, that people who grew up with this game have a fondness for it, because there's just like so much content here. You get a lot of bang for your buck in that way. I know for me, like growing up, playing the same games over and over, or like playing post-game in certain games a lot, like that was what you did a lot of the time, you know? Sonic Adventure 2, I mean, would I have put that much time into it if I wasn't a kid? I mean, I have like 80 hours in it on Steam, so I mean, that's something. On top of however many hundreds that I did when I was younger. But, yeah, like the Gen 3 Pokemon games, for instance, I mean, I was too dumb to like not figure out the Reggie puzzle and stuff, but I tried. I definitely like went down there a lot and did like investigated a lot of the post-game stuff in Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald. And even just like replaying games was a big thing for me too. Because like I never really did much of the BN3 post game, but I played through BN3 a lot, like from top to bottom. Definitely did that. And I guess Pokemon in general was a big thing, because the DS games even more so. But that was more so just like doing new runs basically. like doing fresh playthroughs as opposed to like exploring the post game and all that. It is funny, this game takes on like a whole new tone when you have some of these kind of like, I wouldn't even say, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but like this style of music playing in the background, it's like, it's a little Benny Hill, you know? I do think Wheelgator's theme slaps, but it's just like very contrary to this game's vibe. And I could let the in-game audio play too, but and then you get the bangers and you remember your farming Zenny, yeah. Meanwhile, you're just like just running around. It's like now it's like hyper serious Zenny farming, whereas before it was like Benny Hill, or whatever. It's different though, but like it takes on a similar vibe, like Wheelgator and some of those earlier X games. This is one of the X4 opening stages, right? Or no, wait, this is it's one of the opening stages for X4, X5. Oh, it's X5, damn it, I'm bad. Damn it. God damn it. Whatever. Zero is theme from X5. Dude, the PS1 X games, except with the exception of X4, which is great, I don't really like 5 and 6 that much, but the soundtracks for 4, 5, and 6, for X4, 5, and 6 rather, oh my god. Amazing. Like, simply, like, listen to this shit. It's so good. So good. It makes me wish that X5 and especially X6, it makes me wish that they were better games overall. X5 is fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. 6 is not very good though. I thought 6 felt like really messy. Cousin visited recently, had him listen to Atelier music and it broke him. In what way? Like that it was so good? X5 was a jam. Yeah, I mean, it's... The music in X5 is incredible. The game itself is, like, perfectly serviceable, I feel like. But I also don't have, like, any... Like, literally any history with it beyond the past few years. Jumping into the X Legacy collections more deeply. Because I typically took the conventional wisdom as gospel, as far as, like, just playing the first 4. And I would recommend to most people, like, yeah, just get the first X Legacy collection, unless you are explicitly just interested in playing the other games, while knowing that they may not be, like, as polished and all of that. Or as, like, carefully designed, I feel like. Because it's not just a matter of polish, in my opinion. That's definitely part of it, though. Can I grab the, Atelier Maruru? Look at the cover art, imagine... Here. Imagine a metal band backing 80% of the battle themes. That's quite the juxtaposition, I would say. Interesting. Yeah, Atelier is still a blind spot for me. But I'm open to maybe checking one out at some point. I don't know where the best jumping on point would be. Probably just one of the newer releases, I would guess. This I know this is the forwarding base, right? From X8. I'm so bored like farming for Zenny right now that I'm like, yeah, forwarding base. Or base forwarding or whatever, yeah. Yeah, this process is boring the shit out of me, so I want to play Name That Tune. This is the X8 main theme, which I saw, but like I know that already. This is one that's easy to identify. It's the stage themes for like X7 and 8 especially that I can't necessarily name. Because I haven't really... Well, no, I played a good chunk of X8, but I don't, like, remember... Like, the track names are, like, the level, and not the boss. Because most of the time I'm like, oh, that's Wheel Gator, oh, that's Neon Tiger, or oh, that's Jet Stingray. But I'm like... It's like, oh, that's not Optic Sunflower, that's... Whatever the name of the stage is. Is it Primrose? Like, I know Primrose is one, I know... Forwarding Base is another one. Was it Boost Forest or something like that? Is Bamboo Pandemonium stage or something like that? Do you like how time works for Persona? What if the countdown to the end of the game, time passing for every action? And the game ending early if you don't meet certain requirements? That sounds interesting to me. I think that games that play with time in that way are interesting. I mean, shit, we were talking about X5. X5 sort of has that element going for it. It's not super consequential because you have like so much time, or so many stage entries, as it were. Still need to play X7 and X8. Do you, though? Do you, though? I mean, X8, feel free to check out. I actually think X8 has some interesting ideas. X7, though? Ooh. I've not played that game for very long, but I think I understand. At least partially. I don't think I want to fully understand the, Yeah, I don't think I want to fully understand the dumpster fire that is X7. Yeah, you ask yourself that exactly. Yeah, do you need to play? I would say just jump in just to see. Simply just controlling Axel doesn't feel very good in X7 from the get-go, so I think like that's a big factor to me. That's like a red flag. Because as much as I don't care for X5 and X6 that much, moving around in those games still feels great, because I mean, it's the same engine and stuff as X4, right? Like, it's the same general framework. The older Atelier games play with time a lot. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess we were talking about Majora's Mask earlier, too, and that's one where you are on a countdown, but you can reset the timer whenever you want and carry certain things over, like major progression items over. You just lose, like, your consumables, basically. So it's like, it's interesting. In fact, on the Final Fantasy side of things, Lightning Returns, I know, has some kind of timer countdown, something or other. I haven't played the 13 games yet, but I do intend to do that, and I'm interested in what that could possibly be like. And I'm like, man, with Final Fantasy 16 coming to PC in like a month, maybe not even. In about, yeah, almost exactly a month, actually. September 17th, I think. Or 18th or something like that. Is when FF16 is gonna come over. Maybe I need to get on, like, playing some of the other Final Fantasies, like jump into 10. And, like, actually play it all the way through this time. Something you've noticed with Atelier is that they moving towards a JRPG type story in recent entries, but the older ones really play on how well you utilize time. I guess, like, maybe it seems like they're conforming to something a little more standard for the sake of appeal, which is understandable. Got all the endings for Atelier Totori with like 2 in-game days to spare. Wow, that sounds like a tight window for sure. Like, how much time do these games give you, like, in-game time? Is it like Persona in that you kind of have a calendar year, or is it something a little more small scale? You know, Pikmin is another game that plays with time in varying ways. More so 1 and 3, from what I understand, having only played 3. Oh, Totori is notoriously tight to do everything. That can be satisfying in its own way, though, too. Because if the game is going to give you a limited amount of in-game time, it always gives you 3 years. Oh, shit. It must move along, like, fairly quickly then, right? Better restock. We're, like, halfway. Totori give you 5 years. Oh my god. So, like, what classifies as an action that takes up time? Like, how many stages of the day do you have? Like, what all can you get done? Is there, like, is it a real-time element to some extent? Or is it, like, is it very much like Persona, where just certain actions do it? This is a Cyber Peacock X4. These ones are easy, though. Like, the 1, 2, and 4 tracks I feel like are pretty easy for me to name. Like, even X3, I have some X3 tracks in this playlist, but I can identify some of them, like Toxic Seahorse, but some of them, not so much. Because I don't have as much experience with it. No stages, only days. Traveling takes days, fighting and collecting takes portions of a day, and crafting takes days. Interesting. That, like, genuinely sounds interesting to me. Those kinds of mechanics. I had no idea that Atelier had something like that implemented. Possible to go through half a year in a single sitting? That's crazy. There's 1. Oh, there's 2. Nice. Bum, 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 bum. Man, I'm just gonna have to chip away at this, like, very slowly, as I was saying. I don't know. Maybe before next time, I will take a look at my folder. Maybe like make that document for the program advances. But I think maybe we fight base and then try to clear up the rest of those mega chips that I at least can get, like not number 4 that I can't. Like, you know, I guess we'll have to miss out on Life Aura for a bit as well, because I'll need the evil chips. Or wait, I guess we can just get those next time. Maybe that's what I do next time. Like, fight the heal navis to get some of these. I like that idea. Like, basically get all of the non-Navi mega chips except for Godhammer, which I can't get until next playthrough. Yeah, for sure, dude. I could maybe actually chat tomorrow. If you wanted. That might actually be the best day to do that this week. If that works. We can chat a bit. I guess there's not really a ton of games to talk about. Because I haven't played Yakuza 5 at all or anything, but we'll figure it out. We'll talk about release dates and stuff like that, upcoming stuff. Because that, for a second I thought that FF16 got shadow dropped, and I was like, very confused. But then I was like, oh no, it's coming out next month. And then I was like, oh. That's surprising. An interesting thing is that usually when games come to PC later, it's like the Game of the Year edition, or like with all the DLC included. For 16, they actually are, they let you buy the base game for $50. So less than it used to go for. Or you can get all of the DLC and stuff like that for $70. Like the full package, the Game of the Year edition for $70. Which is like more standard these days. So I think that's interesting. Like, if you want to only spend $50 and just get the base game, like, you can do that. I would be partial to probably just shelling out the extra $20 for the Game of the Year edition, because, or like all the DLC and stuff, just to have the full package, but I'd have to look it up, because 16 must have launched at 60, if not $70 base game, plus the DLC, however much that was after the fact. So ultimately, getting a better deal by waiting this extra year plus, you know. And like, I know when Rebirth eventually comes over, there's no DLC for that planned or anything. They're just going right into development for the 3rd game, which I think is a good call. But that I wonder if it'll launch. It'll probably just be full price, I would imagine. Like, actually. Because Remake came to Epic Game Store. 7 Remake came to Epic Game Store first. And then when it did drop on Steam, it was actually on sale for $50, I think. Because I remember I spent $50 on it when it came over, and I was like, okay, $50? I mean, that's less than the full MSRP or whatever. Because it might be $70 even, like, normally because of the DLC episode that's there, like the Yuffie DLC. But that was because it was on Epic first. Usually when games do come from Epic to Steam, they do get, like, a launch discount. Which is kind of nice, because I don't really mind waiting. I was thinking about this a little bit earlier, where I was like, I know a lot of people have massive backlogs, and my backlog is not small by any means. I've got like 6 Final Fantasy games, I got a handful of Yakuza games, you know, Fire Emblem 3 Houses Replay, plus like Engage, plus like the Trails series I want to get into. But you know what I do? Is I don't really consider a game to be in my backlog until I buy it. And I try to not buy games now unless I'm going to play it pretty much right away. Because there's no point, because the way that Steam sales work, it's like, if you're not going to play it right away, you should just wait to buy it, so you can get it for cheaper. At least as far as being a smart consumer is concerned, you know. A patient consumer, I should say. So it's like, I have like a short like Word document of like my backlog, quote unquote. But like on there I have like Yakuza 5, 6, and 7 because I own those. But I haven't thrown Judgment or Lost Judgment or Yakuza 8 or any of the spin-offs or anything like that on there because I don't own them. And so that makes it feel a little bit more manageable, which I like. And it's also something I'm not beholden to. Like, Nier Replicant was on there, and then I ended up dropping it, and so it's like, okay, I guess we just scratch that off. Got Atelier Marie remake on sale. Nice, nice. It's always a good feeling when you buy a game and jump into it right away. Because sometimes there's games that are on sale to an extent where I'm like, okay, this might get cheaper down the road, but like this is a fair price to me. Especially for games that I'm not 100% sold on. Like, oh god damn it. Like Nier Replicant as an example, I think I got Replicant and Automata together for $40. Like, Replicant was like $23.99, I think Automata was like $16.99 or something to that effect, so it was around $40 total. I'm like, okay, you can kind of equate that to being 20 per. And I'm like, yeah, for a game that I played for 10 hours and didn't really like that much, ended up dropping, fine, $20, sure. But if I'd paid 60, I'd paid 60 though? I don't know about that. Maybe that speaks more so about my current financial situation than it does a game's inherent quality, but it's something you have to consider when purchasing things, obviously. Yeah, no, it was a nice deal. That was one of those where I'm like, okay, will this go on sale, like a steeper sale at some point? Sure. But this seems like a solid deal to me. You know, $20 each for like two, I would say, AAA games that are like pretty critically acclaimed, especially Automata. And I'm excited to jump into Automata because there was some like sort of surrealism and kind of like a feeling of like something's not quite right in Replicant that I liked. I kind of liked that sort of vibe. It was more so everything else that I was not quite sold on. Oh, we're almost there. And so if that kind of vibe is in Automata to any extent, I think I'm gonna like it. Especially because the combat's probably a lot better, because Platinum worked on it. I know Replicant, technically it's you know, Replicant 1.22 whatever, like the version is like that version update or whatever is the remake, but you know what I mean when I say Replicant, but they wanted to keep the combat like pretty faithful in Replicant, so it's not that it like feels bad necessarily, but it's like fine. It's fine. That's kind of how I feel about the gameplay overall. I'm like, it's fine. It's like, it's passable. Nothing super exciting, in my opinion. And in fact, like, there's a lot of running back and forth and a lot of, like... You're basically an errand boy for a good chunk of the game, which is just, It actually felt like a chore. I don't know why I stuck with it for 10 hours. I think it's because I kept feeling like, oh, this must be getting close to the first ending. and then it like wasn't, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'll push a little bit further. And then ultimately I was like, all right, let's just get the first ending, just so I can have a definitive point that I stopped at, and then like move on with my life. And then get sucked into Hollow Knight for the entire weekend, basically. What a game though, dude. Hollow Knight though. I know, once again it's like, wow, guy who makes YouTube videos likes Hollow Knight? So brave. So controversial. I got my fair share of controversial gaming takes though, so. I don't think anything super crazy, but, you know. Like, oh, FF7 and Chrono Trigger aren't in my top 10. Oh. Spooky. What's the, oh, what's the SpongeBob thing where they're at the bottom of the well? Oh yeah, it means he's afraid of Santa Claus. Ho ho ho. And like, stop it, Patrick, you're scaring him. It's like fear of dissenting opinions. It's like, FF7's not top 10 JRPGs for me. Oh, so spooky, so scary. Like, that's fun. That's funny, dude. I crack myself up sometimes. Only sometimes, though. When you dipped your feet into the Nier community with Automata, the consensus seems to be Gestalt Replicant after Automata. That's because of how much easier... Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes sense, and I think a lot of the community did start with Automata because Gestalt / Replicant, like the original Nier, was much more of a niche title when it released. Very much a cult following, whereas Automata like kind of took the industry by storm to some extent. I need 2,800. Although I guess I'll reiterate for the people in the back though, I think Chrono Trigger is like probably the pinnacle of gameplay, like combat, on the Super Nintendo, as far as JRPGs are concerned. I very much favor FF6, but Chrono Trigger's implementation of ATB is like very good. Like, I would say probably better. Like, I think combat-wise, Chrono Trigger is just a lot more interesting than the Final Fantasies, which I do enjoy fine. I enjoy the Super Nintendo Final Fantasies fine from a gameplay standpoint. But that's not really why I'm... Well, for FF6, it's not really why I like it so much. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, whatever works for you. I mean, Wednesday could also potentially work as well. Oh no, I guess I'll be streaming on Wednesday, never mind. We can just kind of play it by ear. I mean, if it doesn't end up happening tomorrow, that's fine. We can do next week or later in the week, potentially, or something, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Active time battle. So, it's, I don't know if you played Child of Light at all. That's one that kind of has an ATV-esque system, but it's like your meter fills up, and then once it fills up, you take your turn. But, like, things can happen in between, so, like, enemies are taking their turn in the interim. So it's kind of like... It's basically Final Fantasy leaning towards action all the way back in the 90s. And then people bitch about the game's leaning harder into action these days, and it's like, these games were always trying to be action, though. Or not always, but, like, for a long time, they've been trying to be more action-oriented. Now, is FF16 a bridge too far? I don't know. We will see. I'm gonna just kind of take it as it is. I don't really care if it's turn-based or action. I like both turn-based and action games. So, in fact, I probably like more action-oriented games than turn-based games largely. But there are a good chunk of turn-based games that are in my favorite games of all time. Primarily because the turn-based systems are, like, snappy and all that. It's not sluggish, it's not self-aggrandizing, or, like... Is that the right term? It doesn't jerk itself off too much as far as animations and visuals and stuff. And if it does, it's not at the compromise, it's not at the cost of speed. and fluidity, right? Persona 3 Reload, for example. P3R, one of the snappiest battle systems, turn-based battle systems I've ever played. Even snappier than P5 somehow. And yet they still have all the flash you would possibly want from the animations. It's really quite impressive. But that's Megaten in general. The combat largely has almost always been pretty snappy, which is a big thing for me. That's the thing with ATB a lot of the time, is that the ATB Final Fantasies drag pacing-wise in the battles, just by virtue of having to wait for your meter to fill up. And there's a lot that you're considering in the moment, for sure. Like, you know, enemies attacking and, like, you know, prepping your spells ahead of time and all of that. There's stuff to consider, but it's just... Especially in the PS1 games, like, it's pretty sluggish. Or at least more sluggish than I'm willing to tolerate, largely. Atelier Ryza has that too. Interesting, okay. Interesting, so the Ryza series has a little bit of ATB going on. But I think the way that I think FF7 Remake's combat system is like so amazing. At least as like a core combat system is concerned, because you have the action element, but then you have the ATB meter for like casting spells and like doing special moves and stuff like that too. So it's like, that might be my favorite implementation of ATB, but I haven't played all of the ATB Final Fantasies, because of course 10-2 and FF13 have ATB as well. Can I get a Zenny drop, please? But it's interesting. I feel like I'm on the verge of being able to do like a top 10 or top 20 list or something of JRPGs, or at least maybe like turn-based ones or something. There's just like, I know I can do it with the frame of what I have currently played, but there's some blind spots that I want to shore up before I do something like that. It's something that I'm like very wary of like doing like top 10 lists or whatever. Because obviously it's always within the framework of what the person has played or experienced. But I feel weird doing like a top 10 turn-based RPG list and like having not played FF10 all the way through and stuff like that. But then there are others where I'm like, I don't need to play through like the earlier Megaten titles to know that the gameplay is just not gonna do it for me enough to not probably crack those lists, personally. Even if stories maybe of a certain caliber, you know? And oh yeah, Gustavo, you have you made any progress in Nocturne at all? I know you mentioned you got past Matador in a comment that you left, but I wasn't sure if you had played more of that since then. Because I know I was kind of dabbling with the idea that SMT5 might be my favorite mainline title. I was dabbling with that idea, but I think Nocturne overall is still my favorite. Even if I think, like, certain gameplay things are better in 5. Certain gameplay things. I think Nocturne has, like, a cohesive... At the Obelisk right now, oh, it's lit. It's lit. I think that's pretty far. I'm trying to remember... I mean, there's quite a bit left. Yes, you did Kabukicho already, I think. Right? Yeah, walk through. Let me. I just want to look at the dungeon order real quick to remind myself. Yeah, Kabukicho was just before, and then Asakusa and Obelisk. Can I, like, scroll on this page or not? I guess not. Okay, yeah. Got stuck in Ikebukuro Tunnel. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Did you do the secret boss in the tunnel at all? Or is it a secret boss? Do you have to fight Ongyoki? You mean rage quit because your team wasn't made for Onis? Yeah, that whole, like, the tunnel dungeons, just in general, can be pretty brutal. Yeah, Ongyoki is an optional boss, but yeah. Okay, yeah. You still got a handful of dungeons left before the final dungeon, but that's like all good shit. I just think Nocturne is like, it's the cohesion for me. The melding of, like, it feels very intentional in a lot of ways, even if I think that the story is lacking in some ways. I would say that the story is lacking. Oh, I can just go from here to... Just in that I just want more from it. Like, as far as story content is concerned, I just want more out of it. Maybe that's a good thing, though. But, like, overall, it just feels like a very cohesive package. Whereas I feel like 5 feels a little bit messy in that way. Like, combat and, like, gameplay progression in 5 is great overall. I have some problems with the combat that I'll get into in a video at some point. It's more so the story, though, for me. It's like, okay, there's more story here, but... And it's like... There's elements of it that I like, but just overall feels still kind of lacking. Like, it's passable, I would say. But there's definitely some issues I have with 5 overall. Really enjoyed my time with it, though. 90 hours, I think. I think 90 hours in it. And I think I completed the compendium except for some of the later special demons. And I think there were some optional bosses that I think I didn't do. But I did a lot. I did, like, pretty much every subquest, if not every subquest that came across, except for Demi-Fiend. Was the only one that I didn't do. Yes, I don't know. I'd like to jump back into it and do the optional content that I'm missing. Or that I didn't do. And, like, maybe I'll just do that kind of on a whim, but... Like, the voice work and what you've seen so far. Yeah, the voice acting was actually added for the remaster, which is kind of nice. Something that I think gets overlooked a lot when talking about the remaster, which I think overall is kind of lackluster. But adding voice acting is a nice touch. Do prefer 5 at the moment, mostly because, yeah, I can see that. Random encounters come too often sometimes. Yeah, I felt the same way. Though I do think that the radar, I think that the radar kind of, like, dulls that annoyance a little bit, which is nice. Like, at least, even if they do come up more often than you would like, which, again, I would agree with. I had that same complaint to an extent, but yes. Yeah, so, like, the blue is when it's a safe zone, and then the yellow is, like, when it's getting closer, and then the red means that an encounter is, like, imminent, basically. That's like a really nice thing. That's even present in the Super Famicom games, which is like surprising. So they were like way ahead of the curve on that. Whereas in like Final Fantasy or something, no indication. Like literally, like what's nice about Pokemon and Battle Network is like, okay, we're on the net, so you can get into encounters. You know that inherently. Pokemon, oh, you're in tall grass. Oh, you're in a cave. You can run into Pokemon inherently. Final Fantasy and like a lot of other older RPGs, no indication. You just don't know if an area is going to have encounters or not. At all. And it makes some of these areas that are supposed to be monster infested feel like lifeless at times. I think that is a downside to random encounters. Figured that's what it was about. We get into a battle, into another one without the radar flashing. Yeah, I guess sometimes it happens so quick that it'll like progress really quick. Like you won't really be able to catch it, but it is something that I would like to be present. Like imagine if Battle Network had a radar. I know it doesn't like actually change much besides just knowing when you're going to get into an encounter, but then again in this game it's like you can kind of feel out when an encounter is upcoming. 50k for this HP mem, Jesus Christ. Well, I know what I'm doing when I'm listening to my podcast this week. I'm grinding Zenny to maybe get these last HP mems. What do I even have equipped here? Oh, so I actually have 900 HP. Like, actually. Okay. Yeah. So this track got me a copyright claim last time. Not even from, like, the actual... It was a weird thing. It ended up resolving itself, but it was like a weird thing where I was like, this is background music. And also it thought that it was like from some remix or something, and I was like, what? Do you like how the underpass of Ginso, where you first meet the mannequins, where it's blue? As long as you aren't in the water, yeah. Yeah, dude, the mannequins are chill. I vibe with them. Also, I've got a lot of memories of that place from just trying to grind enough money to buy... Is it Hifumi? The Magatama that voids wind? Or force? Or whatever it's called for Matador? Ah, the memories. That was probably the only time I really recall grinding substantially, though. But I do think that there's something to be said for, like... This goes for a lot of early Mega 10 titles, but like the survivalist kind of aspect. Whereas in SMT5, I don't feel like... It's rare to feel like you're truly in danger in SMT5. In my opinion. Got Hifumi not knowing how useful it would suit. Yeah, like, because my first instinct, too, was like, oh, let's just get the Magatama because they're, you know, unique. And, it's kind of like buying the next set of equipment at each next, you know, town in a regular, older, JRPG. But, yeah, very useful for that. Like, the game gives you the tools to deal with Matador, which I think is nice. Even though the Fiends were added in the Maniacs version, so like it wasn't in vanilla. I'm assuming Hifumi was still purchasable there in vanilla, and that they placed Matador or designed Matador to be a force-based demon specifically for that, but that's like a whole can of worms, I guess. So this is Black Earth BMD, and then these are like the evil chips, I think. And then these are all the Navi chips starting at 19. And this one I can't get yet. So next time... Which, is it time to wrap up? I'm feeling a little bit burnt out. I could grind more Zenny and keep chatting, I guess, but I'm like... I'm a little tired of that. I guess I could jump into something else, but... I'll make that program advance. In fact, let me just copy this over real quick. I'm gonna copy this into a Word doc, like I do. Because I will have to do some standard chip grinding to, get these, program advances going. So I'll save this. And the PAs might be something I'll chip away at on my own time as well. Where do I want to put this? BN4 PAs. I'll clean this up later. Bosses. Yeah, so next time, as I was saying, I'll get the rest of the non-Navi mega chips. So like we'll fight base, which I should be able to do, and fight the heal Navis in under 5, access Black Earth, get what I need to get there, and then from there, grind for PAs. I could start fighting bosses. There's like a lot of options, kind of. Not many Giga Chips to find. Let me just remind myself of how to get these real quick. Oh, right, Bug Frag Trader, which I think we'll get 100 Bug Frags eventually. I don't want to speak too soon, but I don't think there's anything else I majorly need to spend Bug Frags on. Maybe a Program Advance part. Like, maybe that's a thing. Because I know in BN6, in order to get Poison Pharaoh, you need to buy some Bug Frag Trader chips, so that's a possibility, but for library's sake, like actual chip acquisition, just this 100 Bug Frags, and then fighting base for the other 2. So that's pretty much already like, this is like, it's not done, like I have to do it, but this is like handled. I just need to get those Bug Frags to get number 2. And then we get this from fighting base, we'll get this next time. And then this I need to like, do well against base Omega or base XX. So yeah, kind of slow going, but next time, non-Navi Mega Chips will be done, at least for the time being, with the exception of number 4, which I'll get on a subsequent playthrough. And then I guess we can just start farming Navis, which, there's a lot. I guess the Blue Moon ones we can kind of skip out on, though. There's not that many of them, though, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's just the 6 Double Soul guys. It says, what, 18 of them? 18 chips? It would look like. 1, 12, 13, 14. There's 18 of these. Trend of your playthrough has been using mostly force repelling demons. Hardly had any fire, ice, and elect guys. How did you do against Thor? I know Thor is a skill check, as it were, or well, team comp check rather. I kind of like managed to cheese my way through somehow with agility buffs. Which, yeah, that was like partially getting lucky, but it didn't really prove to be an issue. I probably... Next time I play Nocturne, it'll probably be on hard mode, actually. As obnoxious as that might be, because encounter rate is higher, it's harder to run, and stuff like that. Destroyed him, and that's putting it lightly. That's crazy. Maybe people instinctively jump into hard mode off rip. I know with, like... I'm at that point now with Mega 10 games where I'm like, okay, first playthrough, hardest difficulty, fuck it. We ball. Like, I did that with Persona 3 Reload. And I did that with SMT5 Vengeance, and I actually, like, with some exceptions in the early game mostly, SMT5 was really not that tough. overall. I had like it was very much like Nocturne, where I had a certain strat that just kind of worked on like most bosses, and I didn't really have to like re-strategize much of the time. That's you with Atelier, hard mode instantly. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with Mega 10 currently. So with Metaphor, it should be interesting. I know it's press turn and all that, but I'm gonna jump into hard mode on that and just like see. That is, I guess, attempting to appeal somewhat to the Persona crowd as well, so maybe it won't be that difficult, but, you know. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where, like, certain boss fights are going to be harder for certain people, just depending on how they've spec'd their team, you know? Like, depending on their team comp at any given point, it'll just depend. I know, on the action side of things, I know, like, with Dark Souls, that's a thing. Where, like, everyone kind of struggles with different bosses, largely. Whereas some will be a cakewalk, just depending on your preparation and all of that. But yeah. Good shit. So we'll have... Yeah, we'll finish up these non-Navi chips next time. We'll get one of the Giga chips, maybe even two of them, actually. And then maybe do some PAs or something. Because I know the boss fights are going to be the fun part, I hope. I would assume that it's going to be more fun than doing all this other garbage. So I kind of want to save that for later. But yeah, that sounds like a plan. So we'll fight base first thing next time. I need to like look at my folder and like figure out what the hell I'm doing though. Maybe we can do that next time even, just like kind of re-examine or whatever. Like 65th floor of the obelisk. If I would say anything. Yeah, you do fight them. There's like a puzzle involving them. And then you do fight them, yeah. It's cool. The Morai sisters or whatever. The Fates or whatever they're called. Very cool demon design. I like them a lot. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on Wednesday. We can chat more then. I'll check Discord for your message, Space Cowboy, and we can try to coordinate something. But, yeah, we kind of got a game plan. It's weird because there's, like, a lot to do in this game, but also not. Or rather, it's like you look at the library and it's like, standards are done. Almost a third of the megas are done. Giga chips are, like, not that hard to get. Program advances are program advances, they take a while, but, like, I know that getting a lot of these Navi chips is going to take longer than, you might think. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it's just gonna take longer to get like individual chips, for sure. We'll take it in stride. Like, do a big chunk, take a break, come back. Like, you know, stream something else for a little while, come back, do the rest, or maybe even like do it in 3 chunks or something like that if I need to. But I'd say that's pretty good progress for today. Good first stream back. Especially because most of that was Zenny grinding, but yeah. Thanks for bearing with me.